There is only one man in this race so far, and in 24 hours, the media landscape has not been very kind to Donald Trump. The Republican Party is pretty divided, too. Those things are headaches when you just announced your campaign for president, but when your donors turn on you, well, now you got problems. After the brutal trolling of Donald Trump in the New York Post, it is safe to say that Rupert Murdoch's Fox Corporation PAC is going to be spending its money elsewhere. And other GOP mega donors, they are pulling out faster than you can say stable genius. The day before Trump's announcement, Citadel hedge fund boss Ken Griffin called Trump a, quote, three-time loser and said he'd back Ron DeSantis if DeSantis chose to run. Former Trump backer and billionaire Andy Sabin, he says he is, quote, not gonna give an effing nickel to Trump this time round. His words, not mine. And Steven Schwartzman, head of the private equity firm Blackstone, who once gave $3 million to a pro-Trump super PAC, told Axios that it is time to, quote, turn to a new generation of leaders. Just this afternoon, the heir to the Estee Lauder fortune, Ronald Lauder, a friend of Donald Trump's since college, said that his checkbook is now closed. But billionaires aren't Trump's only problem. Small donors are too, like his base. Trump has been fundraising off of them for 2 years through his leadership PAC. And those efforts were really, really successful. Brought in $70 million. That sounds awesome, but it isn't, because he raised that money as citizen Trump. Candidate Trump, well, that means campaign finance laws kick in, and that kind of PAC cannot directly fund a specific candidate. So he can't touch that money. To top it all off, other Republican hopefuls are kind of pissed off that Trump's constant fundraising has been siphoning away all the small donor money from the other candidates. And then there's this kick in the teeth. People who thought that they were giving to Herschel Walker in one fundraising effort were unknowingly funneling 90% of their money to Donald Trump instead. I want to bring in Michael Maslansky. He is a political consultant and the CEO of strategic communications firm Maslansky and Partners. Thanks so much for being with me. I appreciate this, Michael. So can Donald Trump do this? Can he pull this off if the donor class has turned their backs and the small money donors are like, I don't know how much more I have to give?
Well, thanks for having me, Ashleigh. Look, I think what's important is that money often follows momentum. It doesn't create it. And right now, Donald Trump doesn't have momentum, and so he's not going to have money. These donors, much like many of the supporters that Trump has had and then not had over time, will be there if they see that he has a chance. And right now, it doesn't look like he's got a chance, or they want to leave their options open for others. And so they're keeping their checkbook closed. I think it's a point in the race. It's so far ahead of the primaries that raising money, while important, is not the most important thing. He needs a story to tell. The story that he's been telling since his first election cycle is no longer having the same impact that it had in the past. And so he's got to find a new story to tell to get people behind him again.
And another place to tell it, because I showed this at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you saw that. This is the front page of today's New York Post, and it's about a crime story in New York, except for the tiny little line down here saying Florida man makes announcement. Donald Trump used to get all of his campaign advertising for free, and today is a good indication maybe that's not going to happen this time, so he's going to have to buy it. But could he then turn this around and use it? Spin this to say, look at these big corporations. They're not going to fund us. It's you and me, folks. We have to do it. Could he actually make himself into a bit of a donor martyr, Michael, and actually make out like a bandit?
Yeah, I mean, so there's nobody, I think, that is better at creating an enemy and rallying people against that enemy. I'm just not sure that shtick still has a lot of room to run in it. I think he's tried that. I think it is. There are fewer and fewer people that are buying into it. And so I don't know that he's going to create that virtuous circle anymore that he had in 2016, 2018, up until he lost in 2020. So I'm not so sure that he can create an enemy from the media. I think that there may be other enemies out there that he is trying to identify, but he certainly hasn't done it yet.
Well, you know what? We've counted him out so many times before, and he just, like I keep saying, he's like Rasputin. He comes raging back, and then, he shows a lot of people. It's nice to have you, Michael Maslansky. I hope you'll come back. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.